see. Speaking of not getting our hopes too high, our Sounders, after starting off really, really hot in the beginning of the season, have just kind of been mediocre, and as the children say, mid, since the month of May started, really. And they've entered a new competition with the Leagues Cup here this past weekend, and will take place over the next few games that they're playing. So they've got a little bit of a break in terms of MLS regular season play, and their fortunes in Leagues Cup play haven't been great to start off. So their first match that we're going to look at, July 15th versus FC Dallas here at home. This game was kind of viewed by some as a must-win situation, considering the fact that we're getting closer and closer to the MLS playoffs, and seeding is going to be huge. Obviously you'd like for people to come into your home building. You don't necessarily want to go on the road in the playoffs. I mean, if you're a good road team, then sure. But the Sounders got the lead in this match, and then right before halftime, they gave up a sloppy, just kind of a lackadaisical goal to FC Dallas, letting a run in just clear through the middle of their defensive line. And no one scored in that second half. So our player of the match, defender Nuhu, we look to this photo of the match here by Brian Saldana, a 7.5 match rating, an 89% passing percentage, 13 passes into the final third, 1 clearance, and 2 interceptions on the match there. So nice defensive effort by Nuhu, who wasn't actually responsible for the reason that defender got in. It was the 2 center backs, Yamar, and I believe it was Jackson Reagan in the back there as well, who just came up into the play for some reason, which normally center backs don't do. And FC Dallas was able to get in behind. Perfect ball in for the header, and just like that, this match was tied. So we go from that disappointment to over to the Leagues Cup here, where the Sounders begin their campaign in the Leagues Cup, trying to win new hardware. They've said that they're going to put their all into this and try to bring more trophies back to the club. And if this match was any indication on how things are going to go, it doesn't look great. The Sounders would lose this one on Saturday on July 22nd at Real Salt Lake, 0-3. As you know, with shutouts like this, we don't have a player of the match. It was just horrid. All of those goals actually came in the second half for RSL. So the first half looked fine, but the Sounders were not able to generate chances hardly at all in this match here. As we go to this one, they only had 7 shots. None of them really were able to threaten much at all, really. RSL took 19 shots, which if you're not really a big soccer person and you're just waiting for me to get to the next segment, that's a lot. That's not great to give up. We go down to the stats. Yeah. Possession, I mean, I don't really ever take too much stock into possession, but RSL had 19 shots and 2 big chances and somehow missed both of them. So this means that RSL really kind of scored 3 times on goals that they arguably shouldn't have. If we try to find the expected goals here, we go to all statistics. Yeah, they had 8 shots on target. The Sounders had 1. That's horrible. Yeah, I mean, so we look here to this, and that FC Dallas one, I don't necessarily think that you could consider it must win, sure, but there's still some matches to be played prior to the end of the MLS regular season. If you're going to argue about seeding, then the ones in May and June should have been must win, because the Sounders had a great opportunity to build their lead atop the Western Conference that they were able to keep for so long because of how good they did in the beginning of the season. And they didn't do that. In the Leagues Cup now, new tournament, kind of refresh. You're mostly healthy. And then you're not, as we do have some injury related news. But you put up that sort of performance, and now you're going to play a Monterrey side in your next match of this tournament, who is listed as one of the best teams in this tournament. So Seattle also has not won in RSL in 10 years. Not good. So anyway, we move over to injury-related news here on the 22nd. At halftime of this match, midfielder Christian Roldan, as you can see here in this photo by Brian Saldana, was taken out of the game at halftime in concussion protocol, which is horrible considering that Christian missed a bunch of action already this season due to a concussion that he suffered earlier in the year. So not good. You're losing one of the leaders of this team. Excuse me, you're losing one of the best midfielders on this team for who knows how long, considering that we didn't know for certain how long that Christian would be out until he finally came back in the doubleheader match against the Timbers here in Seattle. So it's not great. And then also the reason the Sounders were also without Nico Ladero in this match on the 22nd against Real Salt Lake, as he stayed in Seattle due to feeling some right adductor pain late in the week. The move to keep him there was mainly precautionary, and the injury itself is not expected to be long term. So you've got shoot. Let's actually look here. Let's, instead of me just guessing, let's look at how much that these Sounders have to do in terms of what's going on before we get to the playoffs. Yeah, their last match of the regular season is September 20th. After Monterey, their next match is August 20th versus Atlanta United. You get Minnesota, Austin, Portland, Dallas, Colorado. Something's got to change internally. I know that after the RSL loss, head coach Brian Schmetzer said that we'll see a different team on Sunday against Monterey. I don't know if that'll be the case necessarily, because I know after some losses at home here and disappointing ones, Brian Schmetzer has said that the team is motivated to get better, and yet we still sit here kind of cluttering along. Things are getting serious. This Leagues Cup, I'm not too concerned about the Leagues Cup. Yes, I know you want to win every trophy and be competitive, but I'm more focused on the MLS playoffs right now after you broke your streak of making them every year last season. And now technically you should be safe from missing out on them entirely. I don't know if that's going to be the case considering how you've been lately, So it's a big opportunity here. You're going to have to turn it around. You'd like to get started and use this next match against Monterey to kind of bring yourself back into the thick of things. But if we're going by how trends have been, it's no good. It's no good. We look ahead here to the next match that the Sounders play July 30th versus Monterey. It's a 6 p.m. Pacific time start here at Lumen Field in the city of Seattle. Monterey has been listed as one of the best teams and best clubs in this tournament. So it's not going to be exactly a pushover, big opportunity for the Sounders to rebound. No, they're going to have to come for this ready to battle and really looking to turn things around. If we want to know the standings for the Sounders in terms of how they've been doing in MLS regular season play, they ended their regular season and gone into the Leagues Cup here with a 10-win, 8-loss, 6-draw record, good for 36 points, and 4th in the Western Conference, 10th in the league overall. Safe to say that any hope of Supporter Shield is done and cooked. So